Amna Nawaz introduces us to a pair of modern-day history makers, the Blackstock sisters. They are physicians who have dedicated themselves to working at the intersection of medicine, health equity, and systemic racism. The story is part of our ongoing series, Race Matters.
So this is the neighborhood you grew up in?
Yes, this is the only house we ever lived in.
For Uché and Oni Blackstock, this is where it all began.
We have so many memories from here with our family. Good memories.
Yeah.
Their family home in Brooklyn, New York.
So it's this one right here,
Yeah.
right?
Yep,
That's it.
exactly.
There it is. Your folks bought this place right before you were born?
I think for both of our parents, it was very important that we grew up in a house. And I would say it was a house of love.
That love from Father Earl and Mother Dale came with high expectations and a sense of duty to those in need. Uché became an emergency room physician. Oni, a primary care physician specializing in HIV. Both doctors lived and saw firsthand the deep racial inequities in America's healthcare system. And both went on to found their own health equity firms to close those gaps. Gaps laid bare over the last 2 years as the pandemic tore through the Black and brown communities the sisters served.
I'm scared. I'm scared that these communities are going to be absolutely ravaged and devastated by COVID-19.
We need to do a much better job starting from kindergarten, from grade school, getting young Black children and other children of color really interested in medicine, and also providing them with the resources and support they need to get through, because it's such a long, it's a long journey, right? Everything that Oni is saying is essentially linked to systemic racism. I mean, I think that's the reason why we haven't seen an increase in the number of Black physicians, and why we continue to see such high Black maternal mortality rates and Black infant mortality rates, and Black men have the shortest life expectancy. We really have to have a more holistic approach to how we're addressing racial health inequities. We need not just us doing the work, we need everyone on board to doing the work. We need the resources and the time, and we know that also that it's a marathon and not a sprint.
It's a marathon you guys are running together.
Yes, definitely.
Their roots, both in the neighborhood and in this work, run deep. A childhood spent poring over books with their mother at the Brooklyn Central Library and running by her side through Prospect Park.
I ran my first race here when I was 6 years old with my mother, she started running, I think, during medical school or residency.
A Harvard-trained physician, Dr. Dale Gloria Blackstock paved the way for her daughters.
She's a little Black girl who grew up in Brooklyn on public assistance, by a single mom. She was raised along with her 5 siblings, and I think the world probably didn't expect a lot from her, but she knew that she could accomplish a great deal, and nothing stopped her.
She pushed her girls to push themselves. Violin lessons by the age of 3, trailing her to clinics and meetings. The 3 of them joined at the hip.
The way that our mom raised us was that we would always be together. And so we grew up together, we played together, we went to school together, took violin lessons together, learned how to ride a bike together. We were inseparable for most of our lives. And it's almost like our mom sort of knew that she wouldn't be here for a long time, and so she left us with one another.
Dale Blackstock was diagnosed with leukemia at 46. She died less than a year later. The girls were just 19, sophomores at Harvard.
We found a letter that she wrote to us under her mattress, and in the letter she says, take care of your dad, take care of each other, take care of your aunt and your uncles, and go on to medical school. Like, that was one thing. She was like, you are going to medical school. So, it was our dream, but I think it was also, her dream.
Uché and Oni graduated from Harvard Medical School, just like their mom, and returned home to Brooklyn, just like their mom.
She would say, look at my babies. I am so proud of them. And, that's all I think ultimately we want to do. We want to make her proud. So I hope we are making her proud. Yeah, she'd be incredibly proud of us. She'd be incredibly proud.
As a Black woman graduating medical school in 1976 and then stepping into this professional field, there were probably a lot of barriers she had to kick down to get where she got. And as you both followed in her footsteps, do you think all those barriers were gone for you coming up after her?
I'm going to say that many more barriers should have fallen since our mom graduated from medical school. Only about 6% of physicians are Black, 3% are Black women, so we still are quite rare, and we have to think about why is that the case, right? When we know that we are very able and competent to do this work, and so it's a tremendous amount of work needs to be done. I think if our mother were still here, I think she would very much agree and still be working on all of the same efforts that we are. This is Cameron's Christmas gift.
Now mothers themselves, Uché and Oni carry Dale's lessons and her sense of mission with them every day.
We only had her for 19 years, but she was warm, she was affectionate, and she was loving, and she made us believe that we could do anything. When she died, I almost felt like I was floating and I didn't have any roots, because the person who had loved me, nourished me, supported me for all those years was no longer here. And it almost felt like that love had been lost. But now I realize it's very much still there. And when people meet us, they're meeting her. They're meeting all of the hard work that she put into us.
For the PBS NewsHour in Brooklyn, New York, I'm Amna Nawaz.